Never say never, because trust me, after last summer, what happened with Messi, Ronaldo was completely crazy. But at the moment, I think what Klopp always said on Mbappe questions. Situation is clear, is the one you're reporting. They are negotiating. It's a negotiation right now. The feeling around both parties is the same, because Mo Salah, as he said in public, he would be happy to stay at Liverpool. He's happy with Liverpool life, with the club, with Jurgen Klopp, with his teammates. So he will be prepared to stay at Liverpool. And at the same point, of course, Liverpool want to keep Mo Salah as key player. It's a negotiation because we are talking about a key contract for Mo Salah. It may be going to be his last top contract in European football. And this is why it's also something we can understand, that he wants a super contract, the biggest contract of his life. So I think it's something that has to be respected. So it's an economical negotiation right now. Timing will be super important. This is something I want to say, because from what I'm told, Liverpool want to be fast on this negotiation. They know that maybe arriving to end of May, beginning of June with this story of Mo Salah could be a real danger, a real problem, because also last summer, Paris Saint-Germain, like in May, in June, before jumping into Leo Messi opportunity, they were thinking of Mo Salah as potential player for them. We know that many times he said about Spanish football. So, of course, we're talking about a top player, and many top clubs would be prepared to jump into it if he's not extending his contract with Liverpool. So this is why timing will be super important, but they're negotiating. They're in talks. So the only thing to do is to wait to see if Liverpool will be able to pay what Mo Salah wants. But I will be confident, to be honest, because when two sides are both on the same point, they want to stay together, I think they will be able to find a way. But now it's a negotiation, and so we just need to wait and see if they will be able to do it. I'm told it's fake news. It's true that they appreciate the player, but I think if you can ask to every club in the world, they can't say that Thiago is not a wonderful player. So it's absolutely normal. They know him so well as it was Barcelona, but they never called his agent. They never called Liverpool. They never had any contact with people close to Thiago. So in the last month, nothing happened. And so at the moment, there is absolutely nothing. I want to say that was not an easy season, the first one for Thiago, because, of course, football was completely different. Playing for Liverpool and not having Anfield open with the fans is something that is not normal, is not human, I would say. Liverpool are made of their fans, and so it's absolutely normal for the player also to need some time to adapt. Now he's loving his Liverpool life. He's at the atmosphere into the club, the atmosphere in the stadium. You can see him performing also at top level in important games. And this is why I don't see any move for Thiago for sure in January. But to be honest, in general, also these rumors about Barcelona is something that is not true, also because the player is in this moment, he's not looking to leave. So it's absolutely quiet situation. Yes, from what I'm told, is very clear for Liverpool and is very typical from Liverpool. They will go into it only if they have an opportunity that is also for the future. So they don't want to sign a player just for 6 months or for 3-4 games with Mo Salah and Sadio Mane leaving the club for the Africa Cup. So they want to be clear on this point. They will jump into it if they find, from what I'm told, an opportunity like Diogo Jota was. So a player with a good price, with a normal price, no crazy price tag, and with good skills for Jurgen Klopp ideas. So if they will be able to find this kind of opportunity, they will do it. So Liverpool are looking on transfer market for this kind of player, a winger. So this is the priority. But they will do it only if they are able to find this kind of chance. So they want something very clear and perfect also for the future of the club. They will love players like Rafinha from Leeds or Danjuma from Villarreal, but it's very complicated to sign them in January, because for sure Danjuma is not leaving the club in January, and I think also for Rafinha will be super difficult. So this is why it's a difficult market, you know. Liverpool also last summer were very clear. They signed Ibra Konate, and then they said if we find an opportunity, we will replace Wijnaldum or Shaqiri. They were looking for this, but then at the end, with crazy price tags around and negotiation complicated, they decided to stay with the current team. So I won't be surprised if they will do the same, but they are looking at the market. So they are keeping tabs on players, and we will see in January what happens. Yes, and I heard a lot of rumors on this, Origi as always, and then we have Nat Phillips, many rumors. But at the moment, just because, as you mentioned, the Africa Cup is going to create some problems because it's Salah, Mane, and Naby Keita, is not easy for Liverpool also to lose this kind of players. So I'm not sure they will allow players to leave early, like in the coming weeks. Maybe at the end of the window, if these players will ask Liverpool to leave, not Phillips in particular, they will give them an opportunity. But at the moment, it's not something advanced, so it's not something already planned. And having many players leaving for the Africa Cup, injuries were a problem for Liverpool last season, and this is why I don't see Liverpool letting to leave many players in January. They know that everything can happen in football. Injuries could be a problem at some point of the season, and so I think at least maybe one player, or no more than one player, will leave Liverpool in January. Yes, his situation is particular because with Fulham, he has still no agreement to extend his contract, and so many clubs are keeping an eye on him. It's true that Liverpool sent their scouts to watch this boy, so it's about scouting and not negotiating at the moment. So we will see if Liverpool will decide in the coming months to jump into a negotiation for him. But as of now, it's just a scouting activity, as they do for many players. So it's nothing like advanced or priority for Liverpool. This boy is very interesting, so I'm sure that he will have a lot of opportunities if he's not extending his contract with Fulham. But nothing has been decided yet. Also, with his agent, they are considering what is the best solution, to take some time to see what are the opportunities. So we can see there's a player that Liverpool are scouting, but at the moment, nothing else. I think that Borussia Dortmund are leading the race to sign him. It's true that also in this case, Liverpool appreciate the player, but it's about the skills. I think he's perfect, from what I'm told, to play with two strikers. So for a different kind of system and not for a 4-3 as Liverpool are playing since Jurgen Klopp arrived. So at the moment, Borussia Dortmund are leading the race. Barcelona approached him, Liverpool approached him, Inter approached him too. But this boy is really attracted by Borussia Dortmund because of the system, because going to Bundesliga seems to be the perfect step for him. He already has personal terms close to be agreed with Borussia Dortmund. It's not everything completed, but they're negotiating on personal terms. It's not agreed yet between Borussia Dortmund and and Salzburg. So this is why the situation is still open, but Borussia Dortmund are leading the race, so it's not going to be easy. I think for Bellingham will be super difficult to move in summer 2022. In particular, if Erling Haaland will leave Dortmund in 2022, I don't see Borussia Dortmund letting him leave in the same summer. They always have a strategy, and it was Sancho 2021, Haaland 2022, and they will try to force him to stay, but I think it's going to be difficult. And then maybe Bellingham in the coming years. But also the player. On the player side, I'm told that he's not desperate to leave. He's a very smart guy, super professional. He's happy with Borussia Dortmund. He's always playing. And he knows that moving to England could be also a lot of pressure for him as biggest talents, in English talent in this moment, and one of the biggest talents in the world. And so this is why, at the moment, the boy is absolutely happy with Borussia Dortmund, and I think it's going to be difficult to see him leaving the club in January, impossible, but in the summer also will be complicated. And so Liverpool are keeping tabs on him as every top club in the world, because we have to mention also Spanish clubs and also the situation of Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea. All top clubs are keeping an eye on him, but at the moment, nothing is advanced. I think from what I'm told, since last January, so it's more than 1 year, Renato Sanchez has always been in the list of Liverpool. He's a player that they've been scouting, they appreciate. It's not true that it was a done deal in the summer. They were interested, but they never made an official proposal to Lille because they were not happy with the value of 45 million for him. Then he was injured, so the deal collapsed. But they've always had this name in their list. So Renato Sanchez has always been appreciated by Liverpool, and same for Arsenal. So there are many clubs keeping an eye on him, also AC Milan in Italy. We will see if they will decide to jump into it. At the moment, he's still quiet, but he's a player that has always been into Liverpool list. They were thinking last January, so 1 year ago, to do a negotiation, including Marco Grujic in the deal with Lille. Then it collapsed. Let's see what happens right now. Let's see what happens in January, in the summer. But I'm sure that Renato Sanchez will love a move to Premier League. So let's see. At the moment, as I told you, it's not a negotiation, but it's always been a name in the list of Liverpool. Talking about Neuhaus is about having contacts with his agent, but nothing else at the moment. So for sure in the list, Renato Sanchez has always been in a higher position than Neuhaus. I think it's going to be an interesting summer, and I agree. I don't know how big, but I think it's going to be interesting because, of course, Liverpool need to clarify the situation of Salah, Mane also. They want to talk in 2022 with Mane agent because he's also out of contract in 2023. So they need to clarify these kind of situations. But I think they will look to have some players also behind the big stars with a different level because, of course, Origi is always doing great when he's called to play, but he also wants something maybe new for his future to be always a starter. So to find part of new players for the second team, if we can say like this, because we're talking a top team like Liverpool, but for the second part of the team, it could be important to have fresh players like they did with Diogo Jota, who is always great when he's playing. So this kind of signing, I'm told, that is what Liverpool are looking for. New midfielder, because they will need a new midfielder in summer 2022. Player behind Salah and Mane, if both of them are staying. And then the defense, I think they did a fantastic business with Ibrahima Konate. I'm told they are super, super happy with him, with his attitude, how professional he is, how he's performing, adapting to a new league. And it was not an easy one because they've been very smart to sign him paying the close because Chelsea were prepared to jump into the negotiation. So I think they're preparing the future. This is the sense for Liverpool, to have always new players behind the big stars ready to jump into the first team and show their skills. So I think they're being perfect also with the new contract strategy last summer to extend many and many contracts. And so this is the process for Liverpool. I think next summer will be interesting. I can't say big because it depends on the opportunities. You know better than me that how transfer markets at times are giving you opportunities. And Liverpool always show that they are ready to do it when it's the right moment for the right player. They will never do something that is just for 6 months because it's not in their style, if it's not an emergency as happened last January, but they are not planning for something like this. And so I think it's going to be interesting because they want to continue with this strategy, but with new faces, new players behind the big stars. And so I think the project is a very good point. It's a good question. At the moment, I was asking about Wijnaldum's situation a few days ago because we had reports about Newcastle and Arsenal. And from what I'm told, the player is still focused on fighting for PSG. So I think he's not going to leave in a short term Paris Saint-Germain. He will try to fight for his place and to change his situation. Of course, he was used to play. He was used to be a key player for Liverpool. So it's not easy for him to be sometimes on the bench in the rotation of the team with Pochettino. Let's see what is going to happen. But at the moment, he's still with Wijnaldum focused on PSG. Let's see if the situation will change. But at the moment, there is really nothing. And I think it's not going to be something for January. This is my feeling. I think it's going to be complicated, to be honest. Never say never, because trust me, after last summer, what happened with Messi, Ronaldo was completely crazy. But at the moment, I think what Klopp always said on Mbappe questions is that Liverpool are not able to do it. And they know that there are clubs that are working on it since a long time, and clubs mean Real Madrid. So my expectation is for Mbappe will be Paris Saint-Germain, new contract, or Real Madrid. There are no other ways at the moment. Then never say never. But at the moment, he's tempted by Real Madrid, but with PSG pressing him to extend the contract. So at the moment, the situation is still this one, and I think it's going to be complicated for Liverpool. I will hope to see something crazy with English clubs jumping into the negotiation and try to do something like this, because it will be the biggest race of history of football, of transfer market. But at the moment, it's still quiet for Liverpool.